Sharma. She is director RS Polyclinic and Diagnostic Center. She is very senior consultant, very dear
Thank
to
you,
us.
Dr. Avinashi.
I'm a slight member of IMA, and she is very good, enthusiastic participant of our IMS member. And I welcome her on to speak on a very important topic that is ignored in day-to-day life, that is menopause and driving safety.
So, menopause significantly impacts the driving safety. It is mostly impacting through the changes in the neuromuscular, the chemicals which are released in the brain, they affect the brain and the nervous system. So, we'll start with this. So, what are the 5 roadblocks in the driving safety? Anxiety and panic, sudden drop in the mood regulating hormones, triggering fight or flight response, brain fog and fatigue, poor sleep and memory issues leading to delayed reaction time and difficulty focusing, vision changes. Hormone shift causes dry eye, blurry vision, and red light sensitivity, joint and muscle ache, physical stiffness affecting the ability to check mirrors and use paddles comfortably, and hot flushes. Sudden overheating in a confined car causes high distraction and discomfort. The traditional view was subspecialty focus. Initially, you treat vasomotor symptoms, you treat insomnia, I'll treat brain fogging. This was the view. But now the functional safety view has come. This reframes the routine menopausal symptoms through the lens of motor vehicle operation. They equip the OBS gynae to screen the hidden driving risk and provide actionable, non alarmist counseling. Reclaiming the driver's seat during menopause. This is a toolkit to navigate the hormonal shift, managing sudden driving anxiety, driving with confidence. What is the trigger? Drop in estrogen that results in brain chemicals regulating mood regulating brain chemicals, GABA and serotonin, they are decreased. That results in sudden panic attacks. Biological shift, translating biology to the road. Hormonal dry and red light sensitivity, this increases glare and visual fatigue that leads to nighttime driving that becomes very hazardous. Joint and muscle stiffness restricts the range of motion, harder to turn the head quickly to the blind spots. Brain fogging and sleep deprivation leads to cognitive overload, delayed reaction time on road, and reduced spatial awareness. Sudden hot flushes, extreme temperature dysregulation is highly distracting, discomforting while in a confined space of car. This fluctuating neuroendocrine levels leads to unmanaged vasomotor symptoms and insomnia, and there is a natural driving pilot is disrupted and severe daily safety impairment. Now, what is the epidemiology? 40 to 60% of women in menopausal transition they experience severe sleep disturbances, and this patients who are untreated, and half or of them 33% of them having OSA, 243% rise in motor vehicle crash. Of the sleep disturbances, OSA contributes a lot. The problem is depletion of the estrogen and progesterone. This alters the sleep architecture, reducing GABA mediated anxiolytic effect, impairing the hypothalamic thermoregulation. The effect is fragmented sleep, manifest in delayed reaction time, lane position drifting, micro sleeps at traffic lights, and compromised sleep perception. The clinical action, recognize the cognitive collapse behind the wheel as a severe failure of executive function and not the routine fatigue, and initiate targeted sleep management. Hormone withdrawal effect, this alters the upper airway architecture. You can see in premenopausal airway, they are supported by progesterone, neuromuscular stability is maintained, dilator muscle tone is active. Whereas in postmenopause, the airway, the hormone protective buffer is lost and central adiposity compression is there, and collapsed tissue and narrowed passage is there. And this drop in estrogen and progesterone level can actively unmask the latent OSA, obstructive sleep apnea. This obstructive sleep apnea, if untreated, equates to legal alcohol intoxication behind the wheels. So, if you treat this obstructive sleep apnea, you can bring down the crash rate, the reaction time, and micro sleep vulnerability. This is the stop bang questionnaire basically used to diagnose or screen obstructive sleep apnea. In this, there are 8 questionnaire. You can ask questions, and these questions will be answered in yes or no, whether you snore, whether you feel tired the whole day, whether anybody has observed you going in apnea when you are asleep. you are a patient of high blood pressure with a high BMI of more than 35, age more than 50, and in the males, the neck circumference more than 17 inches, and female it is 16 inches, and whether you are a female patient. Now, what happens? This standard questionnaire routinely underestimates the female risk because the female may have a atypical presentation, profound daytime fatigue, brain fog, frequent morning headaches, and the presentation of classic insomnia without partner observed apnea. If this questionnaire the patient scores more than 5, then immediate counseling regarding the driving risk should be done. The domino effect of vasomotor symptoms on the daytime alertness, the predisposing factor is the hormonal shift and estrogen decline, leading to precipitating factors like vasomotor symptoms, night sweating, nocturnal awakening, and fragmented architecture of sleep, chronic insomnia, and this leads to impaired kinetic and reduced processing speed. Vestibular disorders. The hormone fluctuation profoundly impacts the inner ear fluid balance and central vestibular pathway. This can present as sudden onset dizziness and spatial disorientation. Patients frequently avoid driving entirely due to the unarticulated fear without ever mentioning vertigo to their clinician. Now, what happens in highway? If vestibular disorientation at a high speed, there will be panic braking. Sudden dizziness triggers inappropriate and dangerous emergency braking, lane drifting, and delayed reaction time. In ocular health, this keratoconjunctivitis sicca, that is dry eye, it is common because the corneal surface that desiccated, irregular topography, tear film, rapid evaporation, lack of lipid layer, meibomian gland is either blocked or dysfunctional. This all there is loss of protective tear film forces light to bend unpredictably upon entering the eye. So this decrease in estrogen can lead to tear film instability and corneal irregularity. Postmenopausal women represent the highest demography for severe dry eye disease. So, what is the impact and hazard? Nighttime driving is a challenge, and at the night time, pupils dilate at night, allowing the scattered light to pass through the irregular areas of dry cornea, causing blinding halos. And contrast degradation delays recovery time from blinding headlights, rendering the driver temporarily blind at highway speeds. Now, this is the estrogen protected vision, and this is the waning vision. Dry eye syndrome and cataract, this both condition drastically increases the recovery time from oncoming headlights, severely compromising the nighttime driving safety. What management you can do? Ocular hygiene, recommend aggressive use of high quality preservative free ocular lubricants specifically prior to driving. Counsel the patient to update the prescription and mandate anti refractive coating. And behavioral mitigation, educate on 20-20-20 rule to reduce the screen induced eye fatigue. What is 20-20-20 rule? If you're using the screen for 20 minutes, then you should give a gap of 20 seconds and look to a distance of 20 feet so that this eye fatigue is reduced, and especially this should be done before you start driving. Musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause, 70 to 80% they have this problem. If the spondylosis is there, then there is inability to execute over the shoulder blind spot checks and or reverse safely. If there is a knee joint stiffness, they will delay the time between the accelerator and brake, and this becomes dangerous. Vertigo and vestibular changes exacerbates the spatial disorientation and it during the rapid head movement at the traffic. Now, this is the chart showing the hypnotic clearance. Women with 40 to 50 experience slower hepatic and renal clearance of Z drug. So, next day driving impairment is equivalent to intoxication. So, we prefer using prolonged release melatonin. This preserves sleep architecture and zero next day psychomotor impairment is there. The gold standard is not pharmacological but a non pharmacological treatment for insomnia, that is cognitive behavioral therapy, should be preferred. Now, menopausal metabolic shift and insulin sensitivity. As estrogen declines, insulin receptor insensitivity is there, visceral fat accumulation, and elevated fasting insulin. Postmenopausal state shifts the stable glucose curve to exaggerated post meal peak, followed by a steep drop precipitating a post meal energy crash. And also in postmenopausal women with type 1 diabetes, the frequency of hypoglycemic attack it increases by 38%, and this can be very dangerous. You have to diagnose this condition, hypoglycemic condition, versus the vasomotor symptoms, because the presentation is same: tremors, intense sweating and palpitation, but on road it presents like vasomotor symptoms present with discomfort, acute distraction and heightened anxiety, whereas hypoglycemic event there is rapid cognitive decline, spatial disorientation and an inability to track lanes. Even if you correct this glucose, it will take 45 minutes lag period for the cognitive function to recover properly. So what we should do: chronobiology and route planning. Plan for a familiar route, plan a daytime journey, avoid driving during the night time, that is like 12 to morning 6 o'clock, and avoid driving during the late afternoon. They are the all sleepy windows. So what you should do: screen proactively for glycemic volatility and obstructive sleep apnea, Meibomian gland dysfunction during your routine menopausal consultation. Apply the slow and low. That is, when you are prescribing gabapentinoids and Z drugs, you give the least possible dose and equip the patient with the practical toolkit: environmental AC adjustment, chronobiological route planning, box breathing and on-road vasomotor panic events. बॉक्स ब्रीदिंग क्या होता है वासोमोटर इवेंट्स के लिए? इसमें है आपको कि ब्रीथ करना है. यू ब्रीथ इनसाइड योर लंग्स. First, you exhale the whole lung, empty your lung, hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4 count. Then again, you can breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it there, hold the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, and again exhale. So, this is breathing in and breathing out. This helps you and it down regulates the autonomic nervous system. For this vasomotor and panic events, you can just treat it by doing this. So, ultimate goal is to elevate the standard of menopausal care by transforming abstract endocrinology into functional, life-saving vehicular effect. So, pre-driving, what should you do? Pad yourself with a schedule. Give yourself extra time for journey. Do not feel rushed. Time pressure amplifies fight or flight response. Listen to your body. Give yourself permission to pause. Pull over safely. If you experience a hot flush, feeling faint, or do not concentrate, immediately find a safe place to pull over. Low stimulus environment: keep your car cockpit with a low noisy environment and keep your phone on a digital silence, because this sudden notification on phone can trigger a fight or flight response. And use navigation system for unfamiliar routes. Recalibrating biology skill: the medical route is consult your doctor, explore the treatment like hormone replacement therapy to directly address the estrogen drop, and cognitive behavioral therapy utilizes techniques specifically to balance the nervous system and actively reduce driving related anxiety. Take refresher lesson and update your toolkit. So, adaptation and not limitation. The anxiety is a chemical response, not a personal failure. Eliminate distractions and time pressure and ask for support. Utilize doctors, CBT, and driving instructor to rebuild your baseline confidence. Thank you.
Thanks, Rupali. It was such an informative talk. It was very nice. Wow. I request all chairperson to be over here and ma'am, all speakers for this photo. Now we can all move to Hall Chitrakoot for oration and we can have small tea break